Frank, we good? Oh, that sounds good, man. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. It's a great crowd. And I think you're going to be in for a great concert tonight. As you may have noticed from the program, which I hope you all got. If you didn't, there's 20 more to get. There's 20 more available. The first half is going to be non-Christmas. You know, this band rehearses all year long, and so we have so many pieces that we just don't get a chance to play. So traditionally at our Week of Christmas, the first half is non-Christmas, the second half is Christmas or holiday related. So we're going to do that again today, just like that. So once again, this is the Harmonious Brass Choir. We are from, yeah, go ahead. We rehearsed in Simsbury, I guess based in, I don't know where it's based in. This group was formed in the Winston area. Was it almost 40 years, 36 years ago? 38, 1988, right? 1998. Right? Yeah, so what I'd like to do, in your program, you might see some asterisks on the side where the members are, so I'd like to ask the original members, can you stand up? Sal? Now, here's the best So, it tells you two things. These guys are old. But second of all, anything that goes wrong today is probably their fault because they started the whole thing. So again, we are Harmonious Brass, and we're glad you're here, and we're going to get going. This first piece is a piece that you've all heard hundreds and hundreds of times in your life. Every church hymnal has this in it, has this next piece in it. In fact, the Methodist Church likes it so much it's in our hymnal twice. So it's like number 698 and number 567, in case anybody wants to fact check. So this is, again, Daniel Roberts is credited basically with the words, George Warren, the tune, but it's they kind of fight over it, seems like, if in researching it. So these are the guys that are responsible for what you're going to hear. How was that? Should we do another one? This next piece is called the Coronation March. It was actually written for a play. It was a grand opera written from the mid-1800s. Meyer Beer wrote this fine act opera. This was kind of the scene where the king or prince is being pronounced king, and he's being knighted and dubbed and all the other really royal, regal words that they used back then. So again, this is called the Coronation March. So the next tune, because we didn't have, I'm having a blue Christmas, we decided to do Rhapsody in Blue, so it's close. This next piece, obviously you've all heard this piece. It's by George Gershwin. Now Gershwin was he's a leader in the field of, he actually kind of almost created his own field of music. I mean, he took rhythms that classical music and jazz and put them together in ways that no one had ever done before. And so the Rhapsody in Blue was actually commissioned by the Paul Whitfield Band, I believe it was. And he commissioned Gershwin to do this. And we first said no, he didn't want to do it, he didn't have time. He was eventually convinced to do it. And so the whole piece obviously is written for piano and orchestra. I didn't bring a piano player with me. And we don't have the orchestra. So here's the other thing. We're missing the big famous clarinet swoop in the beginning of this. We don't let clarinet players in the band. So, what we're going to do today is actually two movements of it. It's about a 25-minute piece, I think we did the whole thing. We're doing the Andante and the finale. This is the most recognizable theme. If you don't know the tune, you'll probably instantly realize that, oh, that's the United Airlines theme song. It's not. I mean, it is, but that's not how it was written. This is the Andante and finale from Rhapsody in Blue. Thank you, thank you. That was absolutely blue like your instruction. So the next one is the original piece. This is the first, it's a world premiere. No one's ever heard this before. Half the band hasn't heard it. You know, as writers sometimes are inspired by different things. You might be hired by somebody to do a march for somebody else. You might be, again, hired to do it for a show. And sometimes you're just inspired to write something. There's, you know, things going on in your head. Sometimes there's voices going on in my head and you try to cover them up. In this case, there's sometimes, you know, a note or a range or something will have an chord, and so you try to write it down. And a lot of times they ask you, you know, why'd you write it? Well, in this case, there really was no reason. So the title of this one is Why I Wrote It, Just Because. I hope you like it. There's a sequel coming, it's called Why Not? Maybe in the spring. Thank you once again. That was just because. Before I go any further, I want to make note of the person who's missing tonight for us. As you see in the program, it shows you that our director is Will Minton. Will's not here with us today. He's feeling under the weather, so excuse me. You're stuck with me, as I said before. He's our director. He's one of the founding members. We're going to dedicate this to him. Obviously, the rest of this show in the previous part of it too. And I know he can't wait to see the video. So I just want to make sure I call out that Willard Minton is still our director, and hopefully he'll be back on the mend and we'll be back at our spring concerts. So our next piece has a little bit of some Spanish flair to it. It's called Malagueña. It's written by Ernesto Lacona, I believe. Ernesto. He's a Cuban composer and pianist. Many of his works are standards of Latin jazz and classical repertoire. He has over 600 compositions, including songs he did for piano and symphony orchestra. This is the sixth movement of a suite called Santa Andalucia, written in 1933. Now, this was inspired for me because back in like 7th or 8th grade, I played this as a four hands, two piano duet with a good friend of mine. And I've always wanted to play it again. Again, I didn't have another piano player, and I would have had to practice my tail off to do it as well. But so this is inspired by a four hands, two piano arrangement, and I took it and did it for more hands. So I hope you like it. It's called Malagueña. You guys have probably heard, many of you have heard this song done by marching bands, drum corps. You've heard it in movies, I'm sure. Again, you've probably never heard it done with all brass like this, so I hope you guys like it. You're in charge. We're going to do another half after this. We're going to take a little break, and we'll come back, I promise. Incidentally, none of these players are paid. Nobody here gets any money. We do this for the good of, so people can hear you. You know, you get to practice, and bands get to practice, and you can get rock band practicing in the garage for their whole lives, and they never get to play in a club. We play in schools, we rehearse in churches, we rehearse in all kinds of rooms and all the, different bands in our lives. And having a room full of somebody to listen to, that's what makes it worth doing. So please come back for the second half. Yeah, but there's no separate donation needed for the second half, unless you want to. I mean, this is so good. If you want to give another donation, you're certainly welcome. No one will turn you away. Thank you. We'll be back in a couple minutes. If you get in here after we start the first note, you're going to have to wait till the end to sit down. I think that's customary in shows, right? So before we start the second half, I want to introduce Pastor Parker Trout, and he's going to say a few words.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. It's wonderful to see all of you here at First United Methodist Church. I'm the relatively new pastor here, started in the summer, and I'm just enjoying this occasion so much. It is during the joyous season of Advent, and we're all pumped about that, and I wanted to thank each and every of the musicians for your dedication and all that you have given to this organization. I was delighted to read in the program, which I did not know, that the organization was founded by Dave Wheeler. Dave Wheeler was my high school music teacher. And he was a high school music teacher at Ken Roberts as well. He was a wonderfully dedicated man, and I think it was partially because of Dave Wheeler I ended up studying music in college, and it's been part of my life ever since. So I want to welcome you. Everyone is welcome here all the time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of today's program and have a chance to have what we call in the church is some fellowship afterwards and have some refreshment. And but please enjoy and let the organization up here know how much you appreciate them. Thanks.
Now, as promised as promised on your program, we're going to do some modeling tunes. This next one, you've heard both of these tunes. Go Tell It on the Mountain, obviously, is written. It's kind of a spiritual. It originally was a spiritual tune by. Hang on a minute. John Wesley Work is the name of the gentleman who actually is credited with writing this. And he did it to kind of capture the jubilant spirit of the birth of the baby. And he, if you know the words, he kind of asks questions and is searching for the answers. And as I said before, sometimes there's weird things that go on in my head. And one day I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking I'm hearing Winter Wonderland in there. And so I thought, I wonder if I can put the two of these things together. Of course I can, but then I thought, what's it going to sound like? And so I guess you're going to be the judge of that. Like, again, this is a world premiere. Nobody has ever heard this written. So it's called Don't Tell It on a Winter Wonderland. what's going on in Winter Wonderland. At no time did anyone get lost in there, and if they did, you wouldn't even know. This next one we're going to do is obviously a classic Christmas carol, a tune, a church tune called "What Child Is This?" The original was written with the lyrics by Will Chatterton Dix, and he set it to the tune of Greensleeves, an old English tune, Greensleeves, which you've all heard, back in, I believe, 1871. This arrangement, we are very lucky to have this arrangement with us, is done by Ernie Adams. Ernie, say wave high. Ernie is our resident bass drum player. He's a longtime member of this group. He also plays with the Danbury Brass. A funny story here, when we first rehearsed this maybe a month and a half ago, first time we played this, because it's his arrangement, I said, are we fast enough? Do you want to go slower here? And then there was another spot where I asked him a question about it. He goes, I don't know, I did that like 20 years ago. And I can fully attest to that, but when you're doing an arrangement, you do one, you get it done, and you're already looking at the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So sometimes when you go back and look at one you did 20 years ago, and you're like, I think that's what I want to do. So anyway, this is done, and once again, Ernie Adams, this is a fantastic arrangement. We haven't played this in a long time. Well, I mean, we played it, a couple weeks ago, but we haven't performed it in a long time. Yeah, we never saw this music until tonight. What child is this? once again, Ernie, wave again for us. So this next piece is called a Christmas album, and it's it's kind of a slice of 4 or 5 different tunes. I think they're written in the program. I don't have it in front of me, I'm sure we'll figure it out. This is arranged by Gordon Emerson, who is a Connecticut native. He was actually born in Hamden. He was born in Keene, New Hampshire, but he spent a lot of his life in New England and New Haven. He was a principal percussionist of New Haven Symphony Orchestra for 30 years. He founded and conducted the New Haven Brass Ensemble and the New Haven Percussion Ensemble, and was the music director of the New Haven Civic Orchestra for over 37 years. Emerson wrote music for radio, television jingles, documentaries, and on stage. He's performed throughout this country and in Europe. He passed away a few years ago, but this is again Gordon Emerson's version of Christmas Album 2. There is a 1, but we did that in the last concert. This is Christmas Album 2. Thank you, thank you. So this next one we're going to do is one of my favorites. The Old Holy Night. And you've probably heard this done, again, everyone who's anyone pretty much has sung this. I guess any star, any artist has recorded this. We're going to do it without any singers tonight. And, sorry, can't singers. But this was actually inspired, believe it or not. This arrangement was inspired for me by a Harry Connick version of this. Well, you probably have not heard Harry Connick's version of this, but if you do, go ahead and listen to it, and you'll understand. I got it from him, he didn't get it from me. So this next one here, now, believe it or not, we're at the end of our program, and you guys now, it's your turn. You have to put out here. You have to sing. So on the back of the program, there are lyrics, and we have cameras here, so anyone who doesn't sing, it's going to be noticed. So just say. And hopefully you'll figure out when you come in. I'll cue you when you come in, I think, if I remember. Thank you. Again, this is Crystal Scala. This one is arranged by our leader, Will Minton. This was one of his all-time, he always wanted to do this at the end of every concert, and so we're definitely doing that tonight. Again, for Christmas Carol Sing-Along. give them a round of applause. Now, when somebody asks what you did this week, and we say, well, we sang for the 30-piece brass choir. And you did. You wouldn't even be saying, you know. We have one more here on the program. In the program, we're going to do We Wish You a Merry Christmas. This is an old English carol. This one's arranged by Douglas Smith. Nobody with a good conscience, preparing a good concert, doesn't have an encore piece. As my old friend Sam in the back row said, we always have an encore piece, and they're getting it whether they like it or not. So we have one more to wish you Merry Christmas on the way out. I'm not going to tell you what the name of it is. I think you'll know it. Also, I've been reminded to remind you that there is a reception down in Fellowship Hall. So please, I can't take home all those brownies.